Hi guys, this is Samana2183, Aquatic Lover 31 on Instagram and Andrew Vasukai in Facebook. I'd like to make a very quick another species profile right now. I've not been doing that for a while, so let's get to it. This time the species profile I'm making is for the Serpae Tetra. Now the Serpae Tetra or Hyphessobrycon eques is a small tetra originating from South America. Its synonyms, I mean the other names that it might be known in the past are Hyphessobrycon callistus and Hyphessobrycon serpae, which is it's the name that it's known by now. Now these guys are found in most of the Amazon drainages in South America, in Brazil, Peru, and Bolivia, but also in the Rio Paraguay drainages of Brazil and Argentina, and as well in the Rio Guapore in Bolivia, in the Pantanal wetlands as well. Now you can see my fishes. Some of the finishes and sizes are different, as well as one of the Serpae Tetra's trademark, I think you can know, is the humeral spot, the black spot you see on near somewhere near their fins over there. One of the ways some people say you can tell whether it's a male or female is the females are more plumper than the males, and in the wild forms the patterns and finishes are different, but these are mostly tank fish, so I think most of them like have very similar looks to each other. Now these guys actually live in sluggish backwaters in South America, and those places I've mentioned before. And one of the places they live is, like I said, sluggish backwaters, tributaries, maybe in small ponds and lakes. And they form like aggregations, like small shoals like this around like submerged tree roots, like the one I have in my biotope here, or even like marginal vegetation that can be found around those very areas. Now these guys don't get very big. 2 inches is their maximum size, though I'm not sure if there are any Serpae Tetras out there that are bigger because of proper home care and all that. But if you guys want to keep these guys, it's best to start out with a 20-gallon tank. That's the best recommended tank that you guys can keep these guys in. Now to keep Serpae Tetras, right, it does well in well-planted tanks with a dark substrate, because the dark substrate and the plants would make the colors of these guys pop even more. But as you can see in my biotope, because of the dark water, the orange colors, some of them tend to like pop out even more in the light. Now biotope type setup like this also you can be attempted with you can try to use a sand mixture of sand and soil, this kind of substrate that I use, and with roots and tangles like this to form a lot of shady spots, which also can help, which can also be created by putting like floating plants like this. These are water hyacinth up there that I've used. Now leaf litter wise, I think it's good to have in the tank, because it is what it's found in their natural habitat, in their biotope. And when you put leaf lifter inside, it will release and encourage the growth of beneficial bacteria in the tank, as well as like once they start releasing tannins, it would make the tank slightly darker and have a slightly tinted yellowish tint, which would create a more natural feel and in the tank. And these guys would, I believe, would feel even more welcome at your tank, because it really feels like home, something like home in the wild, even though like most of the fish we have now right now is mostly farm raised and probably haven't seen the Amazon or anywhere in the wild. Now, Serpae tetras itself are omnivorous fish, so these guys are supposedly not fussy eaters. You can give them like dried pellets. You can give them probably some like algae wafers, or algae, pellets that contain algae and krill. Because you can also give them snacks like bloodworms, frozen bloodworms, some like daphnia, brine shrimp, and all that. Now, one thing about Serpae tetras is, right, people actually associate these guys with notorious finnippers. I mean, like tiger barbs. I think these Serpae tetras and tiger barbs are one of the two fish that really get a very bad rap for being finnippers. But actually, one of the reasons why they do that is one, they are usually kept in like insufficient numbers. And two, they are kept in too small a tank, so the aggression is like very much focused on like their inhabitants or their tank mates because of those reasons. Now, to make sure that this doesn't happen, you have to keep them in sufficient numbers. When I mean sufficient numbers, you mean 8 to 10 or more, like what I have here. I have at least 15 to 20 Serpae tetras in this tank, this biotope. And in this kind of setup, they have a loose hierarchy among themselves. And they, as you can see, almost none of my fishes have like any nip fins in them. So I guess this is one of the very good ways to make sure this doesn't happen, is by creating a very good show, so that they are more focused on each other rather than on their tank mates. And another thing is, like, when you give them a proper show, a proper group like this, especially the males would, behave like will have some kind of rivalry with each other, which makes each other, colors pop even more. And it will be more natural when they do this, like do it this way, and they behave more naturally. Now, if you guys must have tank mates, try not to get any like very shy species, or like species that are long fin or slow, because even though that you might keep them with this kind of setup, with the proper show, these guys are quite boisterous and active, and they might really spook and scare very shy and slow moving species. So it's not a good idea to do that. Good possible tank mates are like tetras or caracanes or tetras on their family that are somewhat comparable in size and temperament. And you can probably get some small cichlids and small to medium sized cichlids that won't eat these guys, as well as some good bottom dwellers like cories and all that. Well, that's about it for my species profile for the Serpae Tetra. I hope you guys find it useful. Next week or somewhere this week I probably would do another quick species profile if for my other fish if I can. And thanks for watching, guys, and as always, this is Samana2183 signing off. Bye bye.